some of you may have heard of the Bronx Salad before. Um, this is a toolkit that was actually salad that was actually created as part of an initiative working with 12 different restaurants to promote healthy eating in the Bronx. And the salad was originally developed by Chef King, who owns a restaurant in southern Manhattan. And once it was such a huge success that we decided to take this recipe that Chef King had created and promoted in 12 restaurants in the Bronx and share it with schools and with community groups. And so what we decided to do is we created these toolkits, basically explaining how to grow the ingredients of the Bronx salad or a moderated version of the Bronx salad in a school garden or community garden and make the salad and then eat it. And so over the past few years, we have been doing exactly that. I kind of skipped over telling you who we are. For those of you who don't know who we are, Bronx Health Reach is we aim at reducing obesity by increasing nutrition education and physical activity and physical education in the Bronx. And I am the program coordinator for Bronx Health Reach, focusing on creating healthy schools and communities program, and have been working on the Bronx Salad program for the past couple of years. This is kind of what it looks like when you get the toolkit in your school. You get a collection of the seeds that do grow in the Bronx, that would grow in the Bronx. Includes tomatoes, greens, scallions, radishes, and we've been working with several schools throughout the Bronx, and it's been a lot of fun. Adriana has grown the ingredients and made the salad with her students. It's a really fun initiative that's expanded to our church groups, our community groups. So we have a whole collection actually of these toolkits in English and Spanish available for the community. And the nice thing about the Bronx Salad is that there are instructions on how to make the salad indoors and outdoors. So if you don't have the capability to grow it, especially right now, I have some really fun things I'm going to show you that you can do if you need to grow it inside that Grow to Learn has come up with. So ways that I can help you right now, if you get this toolkit and you want your community members to use it, I'm happy to talk to you about how to use that toolkit, train you in how to use that toolkit, or talk to your families about how to use these resources, and also walk you through the growing instructions. And help you troubleshoot if you have a particular issue that you're concerned about. I can connect you with the right people, or I can answer it. So this is the Bronx Salad Toolkit that we use for our schools. It has nutrition information, tasting tips, if you're going to do it with your classroom. So this is a great tool if you do work with schools and you would like to share this. Obviously, this isn't ideal for right now, but the reason we're talking about it right now is we're actually hoping that families will use our toolkit for the community and make the salad at home. That's our goal. So in order to do that, I wanted to show you a couple of quick things. There's some really easy ways, if you see these links here, that you can actually grow the ingredients indoors. You can, if you see these links, you can grow from scraps, actually, food scraps. There's also some vegetables and fruit seeds that you can grow from. If you save your seeds after eating the fruit and vegetable, I think I can send you those links as well. You can also use a clamshell to create a little greenhouse in your home, or you can grow certain things like cucumbers and tomatoes will grow indoors on your windowsill. So there's a lot of fun ways to do this. And most of the ingredients, just so you know, take at least 30 days to grow. So keep that in mind. And you do need sunlight to grow these vegetables. But you could just start with doing some of the herbs. That's something you can pick up, at a Home Depot, or in the grocery. Sometimes they sell this stuff in, I know in like dollar stores, I always see them being sold. I've done that myself. So that's an easy thing to do. So I think you'll really enjoy this. And if you have any questions at all, I can help you. Just want to tell you quickly about the Bronx Salad competition. So as I said before, we're focusing on families right now and encouraging families to eat the healthy salad at home. So the fun approach that we're taking this year to our Bronx Salad competition, which usually focuses on the schools making a salad together, growing the ingredients and making a salad together and taking a photo, is that this year we're hoping the parents and the kids together will make the salad and add a little something special that represents your family, your likes, things that your culture, or just things that you like to add to your food. My family loves to add fruit to salads. So we always end up putting blueberries and apples and things like that in our salads, and nuts. So, it's up to you. And then take a photo of your family eating the salad, share it with us through the Bronx Salad Toolkit link, email address here. And then we're going to put it on Instagram, and our Instagram page, and ask you to invite people to like your photo. So the families with the most hearts will get first, second, or third prize. And the first prize is a $105 Walmart gift card. Second is $70 Walmart gift card, and third prize is $35 Walmart gift card. So we're really excited about this opportunity. This contest starts on Friday and it ends the 23rd. Now I'm going to unmute in case anybody has any questions. I can figure out how to do this. Okay, sorry. Give me a minute.
You can stop being the host, I think. If
I stop being the host?
Yeah, you have to select like Adriana, I think you have to switch host roles if you're done. So just a FYI.
Switch host roles. Okay, yeah, I'm not an expert at this at all, Michael.
That's okay.
Switch being the host.
I mean, if you're done and Adriana's ready to go, then I think you have to switch it over to her.
Okay, let me see if I can do that. I'm making you a host, Adriana. And then just change this. Do you see it?
Oh, I think you have to go to the top. I think it's a top bar, I believe. Go to the top of your screen, because I was looking around as well and I couldn't find it. I think it's
all right. Okay, got it.
It was at the top, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And now,
make sure I tried it. Wow. Okay.
Adriana, you should be host now.
I am.
Okay, there you go.
I don't know what to do with that.
Don't worry about it. Oh, your other screen went away. That's weird.
I think it was
your other. Oh, there it is. Okay.
It's there. You
I'll just.
Go.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody sees my setup.
Michael, do you see her setup?
Yep.
Okay.
Looks great.
All right. Well, that was a journey.
Sorry about that, guys.
No, that's okay. I feel like for every Zoom video I have, it's like mandatory to have 5 minutes of confused Zoom protocol. No one knows how to use it. Well, before I spotlight my video, I guess I'll just introduce myself and say hello. Okay. So, hi everybody. For those who don't know me, my name's Adriana. I am the Food Corps service member, Food Corps AmeriCorps service member with Bronx Health Reach, and I have been serving at PS 443 and 457, the Sheridan Academy for Young Leaders and the Family School on Sheridan Avenue in the Bronx. And yeah, this is my first time. I'm pretty excited because this is my first time actually making the Bronx salad. I've heard a lot about it, of course, working with Moria and Bronx Health Reach. I've eaten it plenty of times, but I've never made it before. So this will be something new, maybe for all of us. And yeah, so now I'll switch videos. And without further ado, we can start. Okay. So when you're making this at home, you just need a couple of things. You'll need your cutting board, some measuring spoons for your dressing, tasting or mixing spoons, your knife. I also have a little grater or a zester for my limes. One of the ingredients in the dressing is lime juice. And I love lime, so I figured why not also zest my limes and make the most of the whole product instead of just tossing away the skins. As far as ingredients, I have a salad mix. So I have different red and green leaf lettuces, red chard, baby spinach, red cabbage, all these good things. Pretty simple. I just got one of those like spring mix bags at the supermarket just to have that variety and that color. And it was also on sale, so that's always a good thing. Then we have our tomatoes, cilantro that I've washed and taken out the good leaves, some peppers. My recipe had specified red peppers, but I like the sweet little ones, and I like that they come in different colors. And then limes for your lime juice, as well as avocado, which has perfectly ripened for today. I'm very proud of that. Mango and a red onion. I also have plantain chips, which can be used like almost like croutons. So I've had the salad where I've almost used them as like tortilla chips, and I've put little pieces of salad on the plantain chips and eaten it like that. Or you can break them up and have some texture in there. We have some corn and we have black beans. And so for these, I got them from can. Well, this was frozen. This was from a can. So all I did was cook them on the stovetop like I normally would, and then I let them cool down in my fridge. Just so that you're not having rock solid frozen corn or anything from a can that could potentially get you sick or whatnot. If you wanted to have it hot, I'm sure you probably could. But for our sake, or for my sake, we're having it cold, room temperature, because it is hot enough outside today. So, first things first, if you're doing this with kids, if you're an educator, you're doing this with kids, I always stress your knife skills. So I always stress the proper way to hold the knife is, let me see if I can get this right. There we go. The proper way to hold the knife is not like this with your finger out on the neck of the knife. Your wrist will actually start hurting a lot more with this because you'll have the tension just from this finger. So the proper way is to really grip it, and then that also ensure there's no wayward fingers that could get cut underneath. So it's holding the hilt of the knife, and then this hand would be your claw. So it would be this motion where the top of your knife can fold neatly against your knuckles, and then that way there's no fingertips, no nails getting stuck in there. And as you're going, you're going to hold it that way. You can hold it like this if it's easier, but the idea is that you can go up and down without chicken fingers getting in there, or as I call it, chicken fingers to the kids. So yeah, So first things first, if you had heads of lettuce, you would be washing them, and then you would chop them up into small bite-sized pieces that are manageable for you. Since it's already done today, we will go right on to our tomatoes. I have a bowl that I could put this in. For exact amounts, what I have here, I mean, I had gotten a lot of ingredients just because that was the nature of how I had to buy it. I think that these are ingredients that could go a really long way. So if you make this in bulk, it could probably last you maybe up to 2 days in the fridge if it's sealed tightly, and you don't add dressing to the whole thing. If you add dressing to all of it at once, it's going to get really wilty and kind of gross. I personally don't like wilty lettuce after it's had dressing on it for more than like a few hours, but that's one of my picky things. So now that we've had that tangent. So first we'll do tomatoes. These are just tiny little Italian tomatoes. You can use whatever tomato you would like. In the gardens, I usually plant cherry tomatoes for the kids. You get a lot more per plant. And then it's also just more fun for them to see those tiny little bite-sized tomatoes that they can pop in their mouth like candy. So for these, this is fairly flat, but I usually would tell kids that they would cut off, like I call it the butt, and that usually makes them laugh. But so I'd say to cut off the butt so it's something that can lay nice and flat. And then from there, you're able to hold it. And then you can fold it onto a much flatter surface and go from there. I'm not going to chop it up too tiny. I'm going to try and do just little strips so that it can be spread through my salad pretty easily, and I'll just add it to my bowl. So I'll do a couple of these, and if anybody has questions, now would be the time. Please feel free to ask to fill some dead air.
If I'm not able to buy certain items, can I substitute other items?
Yeah, of course. Mariah was saying before that her family likes to put fruit in here. We're adding mango today, but if you want it to be a more fruit-forward salad, I think that would be a wonderful thing. I personally don't like traditional fruit salad where it's just fruit in a bowl. But I think it'd be nice to have the different textures of different lettuces. And then it could also be cool because it's a hot dressing. We put hot sauce in it. It could have a nice like juxtaposition. And simple things like that, like especially if you're working with kids, like I think as adults we take for granted that we've learned this stuff and that it's kind of normal to us, and we're like, oh, okay, like kind of fancy, we've seen it before, nothing out of the ordinary. But for kids, it really blows their mind because it's like the first time that they've ever heard of it or tasted it. All right.
So, Adriana, I have a question. So, say you don't have limes or mangoes. Could you use, would oranges work? Would that be a weird combination?
No, I think
or lemons, if you have lemons.
you could definitely use lemons. Orange juice goes in this as well.
Yeah, oh, that's true.
So oranges could work. Lemons could work. I mean, lemons and limes taste fairly similar.
Mm-hmm.
So really any citrus. I mean, if you wanted to really get creative and do grapefruits, you could do that.
Ooh.
Yeah. As long as it's a citrus, I feel like it could work in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that shouldn't be a problem. Also, if you don't have like actual limes or whatnot, like you can use the lime juice, the concentrated lime or lemon juice. And if you don't have any of those things at all and you just have orange juice, you could probably just add more orange juice and do it that way.
Cool.
Yeah, so we'll move on to the peppers. The peppers I do the same way. I cut off the little tops of them to make them flat and easy to cut. And then I turn them over. And it's a similar thing. Inside, you'll see the little rind. These can usually just be, sometimes they just can be pulled off like that. Sometimes if you have older kids and they're really good with knife handling, you can cut actual slices for them, and then you can challenge them to like how thin they can get the skin off. But that's only if they're really good with knives. That's a really easy way to also get them cut if they're not. But it's important to get those little rinds off because they're tough to eat. They're really fibrous and they don't have a lot of flavor to them. So it's important to get them off. These I'll do in little strips as well. I'm making sure that I'm having a claw. And they don't have to be perfectly sliced. It's really as comfortable as you are for like making it bite size. Did anyone else have any more questions? It doesn't necessarily have to be about the salad. I know if anybody needs any resources during this time for testing sites or food pickup, I know Mariah, are you still updating your WhatsApp group?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm trying to unmute you guys. I see that people are asking to be unmuted.
Or do I have to do that as the host?
You might have to because I can't seem to do it. Sorry.
That's okay. Where do I go for unmute?
I think it's in the where the participants are. You can click on the mics.
Ah. Okay. Let's see. Unmute.
No, it's not working.
There we go. I unmuted everybody.
Okay.
I think now people have to opt to unmute themselves.
Okay. If you'd like to unmute, please feel free to unmute yourself to say something. There you go, Teresa.
Hi. Since you said, first of all, you're doing a beautiful job, and that just, I'm looking at my computer, but I have a TV screen up ahead, and my computer monitor is not as beautiful, but that TV screen, everything is popping alive. It looks beautiful. So congratulations. Since you said we don't have to ask about the food, I just want to let you know that Morrisania Wick is open for business, and we are doing everything, unless you want to come in, we're doing everything virtually. So we're even certifying people through Telewick. And if you want to know more about it, I'll let you know later. So the staff is really doing an amazing job. And for breastfeeding, Baby Cafe is virtual baby cafe. And moms could do just like this. We're not using Zoom, we're using WebEx. And we have a breastfeeding chat every day but Tuesday. So we are on it and we are here for all of you. Now I'll mute myself.
Ms. Hernandez, did you have something you wanted to ask?
I just wanted to say I'm super excited that this is happening because the Bronx salad is super delicious. I actually voted for it at Boogie Down Bronx and the Boulevard. Really
wonderful, good. Thank you.
All right, so real quick, again, when you're making the salad, it's up to your preference and how much of each ingredient you want inside of it. So I'm just gonna add the beans that I want to add in. Have a healthy dose of them. and the corn before we move on to everything else. So now I'm going to do the onion. So it calls for a red onion specifically. And let's see. There we go. So I always give instructions on how to cut a red onion or how to cut onions in general, because a lot of people struggle with them, even if they're adults and they've been cutting onions all their life. Even for myself, I'm like, I can always cut onions better. So this is a very bulbous object. It obviously has to be cut down. So first things first, I always cut off the top of it. And I try to keep it as straight as possible so that I can turn it on its flat side. And then I cut it in half to start. Normally, then it's easier to peel your onion from here instead of trying to do it whole, just because I'll take the entire top layer off. This one got a little funky. Today, we're just gonna do them like little thin rings, just like this, so we can pull them apart and have them splayed out like this. And not in like small chunks. Of course, if you wanted to do it in chunks, it's easier for you to eat that way. Definitely do that. If you wanted to cut it like normally, like in giant chunks, the easiest way is to have a hand on top of the onion. And then basically you're gonna go parallel to your cutting board all the way up in whatever increments you wanna do. So you can go as thin as possible. I'm sorry if it's kind of hard to see. And you only go about 3/4 of the way so that the root ball of the onion stays intact, because that's going to hold on to the rest of your onion, and it's going to be easier for you to control it instead of it going all over your cutting board. And then you can go up incrementally. Let's see. Then you can go up incrementally from where you cut here. So then you can go up here. And normally my hand would be flat like this, but I want to make sure you guys can see it. So then from there, you can follow the lines of the onion and slice down and out. It's okay if you get some that splay out. And again, you're trying not to go too far back so that those roots can hold on to the rest of the onion. So it makes it a little bit easier for you to hold. And then you can hold the whole thing together with your claw towards the back. And you can determine how big you want these onion pieces to be. And then you just can slice down. And then you have perfectly cubed onion pieces without a lot of mess and tears regardless. So I'll do that one. I'll finish this one this way. And then the other half I'm just going to do in the simple rings like I showed you. Another trick, if you are an avid cryer of onions, you can pop these in the fridge or the freezer an hour or two before you start cutting them. And it freezes. The whole reason that we cry when we're cutting onions is because we're releasing this enzyme inside of them that reacts with the moisture in our eyes, and which makes us cry. But if they're cold or if they're frozen, like not frozen solid, but at least cold enough, you can slow down that enzyme release and you won't tear as much. So they should be stored at room temperature in a dark place or in a dark, cool place, but not in the fridge. They'll go mushy a little faster in the fridge. But for cutting purposes, you can even put them like overnight in the fridge and then you won't cry the next day. Unless you like to cry, which is totally fine. Onion cutting can be very cathartic for some people. So again, I'm trying to do these pretty thin so they're easy to eat. And I'm just going down the entire onion. Always gets harder the further you go. And then just break them up, separate them as you toss them in. I also like a lot of onion, so I don't mind cutting up this much. Okay. Next up, the mango, which feels pretty ripe. So this one I'm just going to cut in half as best as I can. Let's see. This one wants to fight with me today. It's so strong. That pit is usually a little bit nicer to me. But, let's see, our spoons. We'll scoop it out. So again, you can work with what you have. If you wanted to do strawberries or peaches or any fruit, cherries, anything that you had in the house, you could. You absolutely don't need to rely on fresh fruits. If you don't have them, you can use canned fruits. Let's see. I'm sure I'm doing a huge disservice to this poor mango. Okay. You there. Scoop the rest of you out. Also, if you do have a garden space, or if you don't have a garden space, I wouldn't let that deter you from growing tropical fruits. At PS 7 in Harlem, Miriam from Edible Schoolyard still grows avocados. She's never gotten a single avocado from her avocado plant, but the moral of the story is that the kids love seeing it grow anyway. So that they had eaten their own avocados, they saved the pit, and then from that they planted it and they nurtured it over the years, and it grows. And every year it does come back. They take it inside, and they do the best that they can with it. And every year it grows, it sprouts leaves and whatnot. And I think the kids are always holding out hope that it'll sprout a little baby avocado one day. But even though it hasn't, it's still been incredibly rewarding for them to care for it like that and to have something that's long term and that has aged with them throughout their time there. So even if you're nervous about something like, I know she has pineapples there, like little baby pineapples, and they never get big enough to like really harvest, but they're still really fun for the kids to see because they just look weird and kids never think of how pineapples might grow. I certainly didn't. You can also, if you do have a garden space, you can also do an entire Bronx Salad Bed, and which I had done with my students last year. And So we do all the ingredients for the Bronx salad. If you have many classes, maybe one class can get one ingredient and they're responsible for that little corner of the bed. And then when it's time to harvest, they get excited that they just had like one salad from one bed, and it's just a really nice thing to see. And you can also, I mean, you can do this for any of your plants, but you can also try and let them go to seed and let them overwinter. It'll look really wild and kind of out there for a while, but it's really interesting for the kids to be able to see, like, you know, if you planted beans, they can actually shell their own beans and see how they come out dried and how they have to re-soak them, and why that's even a process instead of just like the beans from the can that are really easy to cook on the stove. You know, they see how the cilantro can, and maybe if you planted kale, like the kale grows into like little trees and the cilantro gets really wild and sprouts flowers, and it's just a really interesting activity for them to see, and it makes it just that much more meaningful for them. And then sometimes a lot of these things reseed themselves. So if you let that bed get really wild, the next year everything will just kind of pop up in its own place, and you may not even need the seeds anymore. So next we'll do cilantro. I'll save the avocado for last because I don't want it to get all smushed up. But for cilantro, you can do it a couple different ways, or two different ways. You can use a scissor and just trim the leaves. You can, or you can do it my way, which I try to not fidget with the stems too much. And I get all the leaves bunched up as best as I can. And then you can kind of turn it on itself and give it a gentle little twist. Give it a gentle little twist. And then from there, you can just start slicing. And I usually go down until I start getting stem. The stem is edible. People just don't like the stem because it can be a little fibrous. But if you have a little bit of stem and they're chopped up pretty small, it's not that big of a deal. So I try not to chop it too tiny so that it doesn't get lost in the salad. Add that in. And then I think that's it for here, and then the avocado. So the avocado I'm going to set to the side after I cut it. I don't want to mix it in with the other ingredients because I just don't want it to disappear into mush. I like avocado chunks. It'll just be pretty simple. Put that on a plate. Okay. So that is one. So now we can move on to the dressing. So the first thing for the dressing, again, you can use concentrate. You can use different types of citrus if you want to. I love limes, so I'm sticking true to them. If you get your limes and you squeeze them and they're a little hard, you can always take them, and before you zest them or anything like that, you can roll them and really putting your pressure on them, pushing down on them and rolling as you push. And that basically just breaks up the fibers inside the lime. And this goes for lemons, for anything. It breaks up the fibers and just makes the juice a little bit more eager to get out. Sometimes certain ones need to be rolled a little bit longer. But I don't know if you can tell the difference, but now when I press it, it has a little bit more of a squeeze to it. So it's a little bit juicier. I'm going to do that with both of them. And then before I cut them, I'm going to zest them because I really like that limey flavor. Anybody have any questions so far?
Adriana, do you need me to announce the measurements for the dressing?
Thank you. I actually pulled it up.
You did. Okay.
So I can go down the list.
Okay.
But for lime juice, it is, so the ingredients in general are apple cider vinegar, lime juice, orange juice, olive oil, Dijon mustard, salt and pepper, honey, and hot sauce. So the lime juice is just, and they're all in teaspoon measurements. So the lime juice is 1 teaspoon. Cup to put it in. When you're, sorry, I keep going out of frame, guys. I'm sorry. When you're zesting them, it's really easy. So I usually zest with the collecting side up because it's a little bit easier. As you're zesting, when you start seeing the white, that's the rind, that's the pith of the fruit, and that's going to be really bitter. So if you keep going in that one spot, and you can actually see it in the zest. When you're zesting, once you start seeing little white spots in it, then you have that rind in there, and it's just going to kind of set off the flavor of the actual zest. It's going to make it a little bit more bitter, a little bit more astringent. So when you're zesting, it's really just kind of 1 or 2 passes, and then you go to a new spot. You don't want to make it completely bald in any one area, because the more that you stay to just that pure color of the green or the yellow or the orange, it'll be more true to the flavor. You'll get more of those oils, and the flavors will be stronger too. Okay, so that's one. Another one. Dusting is also good for kids to do, but you just have to be careful with them because it's easy to get fingers caught in the zester or the grater.
Oh, I just want to mention, Adriana, you have another video that you're going to do at the end of the month. I believe it's I can send everybody out the address, the date. I don't have it in front of me.
The last Thursday.
The last Thursday, yeah. So if people are interested, Adriana's going to do another video of apple muffins. Is that right?
Yeah.
At the last Thursday in June. And she also has some videos on the Food Corps New York City YouTube channel, there's also videos of other Food Corps members making recipes and doing videos related to distance learning lessons. If anybody's interested, I can post that in the chat.
Or can you email it to us, Maria?
Yes, I can email it too.
So only 1/2 of my lime gave me 1 teaspoon, but I'm rebelling and putting in more lime juice. Okay. Then we have 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. A 1/4 teaspoon of orange juice. the good thing about dressings is, and salads for that matter, is that you can really, like, there are rarely any rules for them. So you can do as much of each ingredient as you want. If you want this dressing a little bit less hot, or, I mean, obviously you can change the hot sauce that you use, or you don't have to do a hot sauce if you wanted to do just a citrusy dressing. You know, if you wanted it to be a little bit sweeter, you can add an extra 1/4 teaspoon of honey. If you need less or more salt in it, you can adjust those things. The whole point of the salad is that these are just ingredients that are a nod to the community that we're serving and the Bronx as a whole. But really, and the point of the whole challenge that Mariah was talking about at the beginning of the call was that this is completely customizable to you and your family and what you're interested in and what your tastes are. All right, olive oil, which I forgot. Okay. So we have 1 teaspoon of olive oil. I think I'm going to need a little bit, a second one, since I added more lime juice. Dijon mustard, 1 teaspoon. I'm going to eyeball it. Salt and pepper to taste, or, well, it's about a 1/4 teaspoon of each. But I'm going to do less than that. Honey is 1 teaspoon. And hot sauce is 1 teaspoon. There's a specific hot sauce that you recommend, right, Mariah?
Oh, the Bronx Hot Sauce.
Yeah.
That was actually created, that's sold by Chef King, and actually he grows the hot peppers in one of the community gardens in New York City, and then puts them into his Bronx Hot Sauce. It's part of a nonprofit initiative. So, and it's very tasty.
All right, so now I'm just going to mix up all of my ingredients before I add it to my salad. I don't remember who told me this, but like somebody had told me that like if you're looking to eat healthily, you can just choose to eat with like a lot of different colors on your plate. Like the more colors you have, the healthier it is. And that's just something that screams healthy to me. Like it's like a party in a bowl, which is the Bronx. One giant party. All right. So we have our dressing. It's not a terrible amount to make. We're going to put this to the side. I'm going to make it really pretty for you guys, or I'm going to try to make it really pretty for everybody. My plate. I take my lettuce, make a nice little mountain. Oh, and I can't forget. So I had mentioned at the beginning that you can use these kind of like, almost like salsa chips, and you can eat the salad on top of the chips if they're big enough. Or you can use them whole and use them as like in lieu of croutons, if you would. And let's see. Feel really guilty for making this so pretty for you guys, and then you can't eat any of it. Let's toss it up a bit. Maybe the apple one can be a make-along where everybody can have the ingredients and we'll do it together, so you aren't left empty-handed by the end of it.
That's a good idea.
So I'm gonna crush them up, add them to the top. And there you go. And
That looks beautiful, Adriana. Thank you.
you can't forget the dressing. You just drizzle it on. The good thing about making your own dressing as well is that you can choose, you know, if you need it to be low sodium, you can. And because like I'm a huge dressing person. I love things doused in dressing and sauce and anything that I can sop stuff up with. I love drowning it in it. And so, but I have really bad, like, well, I didn't do a good job of it today because of all the lime, but I get bad acid reflux, so I can't have a lot of acidic things normally.
Just attention at 7 o'clock, folks. So let's do a brief congratulations to our healthcare workers.
Thank you, Michael.
Now back to our regularly scheduled program.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, I usually can't have a lot of acidic things, and making my own dressing at home, I can really control that versus going out and having to buy something and either having to pay some like exorbitant amount for dressing that can fit into my dietary requirements, or being very sad with what I'm eating. So, but yeah, does anybody have any questions or comments, last thoughts? I know we said it was from 6 to 7, so I don't want to keep people too much longer or later than they have.
Did anybody have any questions? You can raise your hand, and then Adriana can unmute you, or I think everybody can.
So.
Yeah.
Can we have that recipe, like the recipe for that dressing? Is there somewhere I can pick it up, like a link or something?
Yes, it's in the Bronx Salad Toolkit.
Got it.
Put a link.
You sent me that. Thanks.
But I can send it to the group in the email.
Yeah, I want to share it with Michelle, who's also on the in here on the group.
And I just want to congratulate you. Great job. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
It's really beautiful.
And it's really unfair we can't taste it.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry. As I'm doing it, I'm like, I have all this salad stuff and no one to share it with.
Well, that's your reward for all your hard work, right?
True. So, but next time, hopefully, we can do a make along, and because the apple bread recipe really doesn't have that much, that many different ingredients to it. So, and hopefully by then, but I think by now, I think supermarkets have kind of evened out a little bit, so it's a bit easier to find pantry staples and stuff like that. So, yeah, and the apple bread can probably be made within the time that we have, like an hour Zoom call. So.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Adriana. This was wonderful. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. And have a lovely evening. And hopefully we'll see you the last Thursday of the month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for inviting me, Mariah. I'm sorry
you.
I was on a different meeting before this that ran too long. All right.